Man, fucking jokers. These jokers.
These guys? Who's this guy? Who is this guy?
This freaking jokesters, more like.
Who are these joke makers? These jokesters?
Speaking of jokers, here's the first word.
Oh man, yeah. We gotta roll up into this RvB shit. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let's talk about what I think is the biggest whiff, story wise, other than like just like bare bones stuff, structural shit, is the phase thing. What I think it's supposed to be the emotional connection to.
That's something I had written down. Where was it? Yeah, phase/East should have been the focus of the season,
absolutely.
or it should have been drawn out to a longer arc.
Yeah,
there wasn't enough focus and time put into Rayla.
Oh, I feel like
put into that for the payoff in the end to have any real dramatic weight.
Yeah, I feel like also if they were going to do it where it comes to a head at the same time as the main plot of the season, that they could have drawn more parallels between 0 and 1.
Yeah,
because that would just that would be more strong.
I mean, yeah,
it would be stronger. It would be better writing, more thematic.
I think this into pretty much every single story that you're supposed to get attached to throughout all of this just kind of falls short because as we said each week we were talking about how it just feels like episodes are missing.
Right.
It feels like there's stuff that we're missing, and that's because they crammed so much stuff together so quick it gave you no time to really
and weird time gaps between episodes, not explainable good time gaps, and especially when you're doing a very narrative driven
whenever you
it all just felt like cutscenes, and we just missed most of the story.
Yeah. It's like these are cutscenes to a video game we would have played through to understand the characters' motivations and stuff.
Hold on, but seeing it now and seeing the ending of it, the end game of the whole thing, if it were double the fucking length, even, do you think they still could have?
Yes.
They could have done something better.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think that there are
nothing is just doomed. You can tell even a bad story well. Execution is so important.
Right. I think that the writing, as far as the script, would still have been really kind of cringe to me and corny and bad.
I would have loved it.
Well, you love cringe, corny, and bad.
I could have used 10 more minutes.
What do you expect from me?
I could have used 10 more minutes of development for that ending phase turncoat thing.
Yeah.
10 more minutes of development would have maybe sold me.
An episode phase at least
development would have sold me.
And that's the thing.
Maybe that. Yeah.
When looking back, especially to Blood Gulch, but just over the whole series, they've never been to let a story take the time that it needs. There elements that are introduced in even elements that are introduced in Blood Gulch that don't get paid off until the Reconstruction or Project Freelancer. And you have and that's really important to know how much time to give your characters in the story and everything, and they just kind of rush through everything.
Do you think that part of that is because they did not write? They didn't. A lot of the stuff that was done in Freelancer and everything that was drawing off of Blood Gulch stuff is they hadn't written that part yet. It wasn't like they did the stuff in Blood Gulch in expectance of doing Project Freelancer.
Not necessarily.
There was a script written.
There are interviews
with how early you go. I mean,
you can go to interviews with Bernie from the Reconstruction season 6-7 era, and he's talking about they didn't have everything laid out, but they knew Church was an AI back when he first died. Yeah. They a lot of these
that made sense.
They knew, and so as a good storyteller trying to create a cohesive universe, then that has to be explained.
Right,
how they have the main question was, how does Tex have invisibility?
So they had the building blocks.
Right.
They had the building blocks of it, maybe not the express details of what happens.
And
I don't know when they wrote Locus.
Oh, that would have been.
But that would have
been like
2010,
miles whenever
That
he
would
was
have been a
writing
post
Court.
thing.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like those first 10 years are very, very cohesive, and a lot of it is because of from the beginning. It's like, okay, how does this really play out? Even if we don't have like the broad strokes of it, or like the fine points of it, we have the broad strokes of where we are in the war and why Tex has invisibility and why he's a ghost, not a ghost, blah 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 blah. All to say, there doesn't seem to be that much forward thinking. Like, I would be very surprised if they wrote anything or even had an outline of season 2 of Zero or season 19, however you want to say it. When they were working on this, like, they are just now probably thinking, okay, well, what do we do next?
Yeah, and with the phase arc, it feels like instead of them trying to coherently bring story elements together so that the audience feels like there's payoff, it feels more like there's a checklist of events. Like, we establish conflict here, we do this, there, that, blah, blah, blah. But it all falls flat because it just feels like, okay, this is the time for this thing in the season for that to happen with them. Like, this is when we discover what's going on with them. This is when we get resolution.
And the episode, like, after, and it's the end of the episode whenever phase we figure all that out. The very next episode is the 2-part finale.
Yep.
Like, there should have, in between that, if nothing else, then there should have been an episode from, like, specifically focused on Phase from, like, her perspective and everything. We should have got into her head more.
And that's what I meant by the especially the 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Of
Just
development. How many episodes were there?
8.
And they were all about how long?
About 10 minutes long.
Okay,
roughly.
so yeah, that would have been one full fucking
Yeah.
episode, basically. Yeah, that would have been perfect. Like, 9 episodes would have bothered me, but
I mean, but the thing is, you could have just made the last episode double length or something. Like, you could have made it a half hour.
Yeah, they do that.
Like, that's the one thing I don't understand. Like, I get it for if you're doing a show like Genlock or something where you're trying to get it on network, and so you're trying to stick in that 20-minute time frame.
Yeah.
But for a show that is absolutely never going to go to TV like RvB, why do we constrain ourselves on time? If an episode needs to be 5 minutes, make it 5 minutes. If it needs to be half an hour, make it half an hour.
Please don't make it 5 minutes.
Yeah, don't make it 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, with some of these episodes, I would have rather just had.
That's me being greedy, though.
Sorry, side note, could you imagine if they would have actually, like, taken that deal and put RvB on TV? They had
TV has been dying. I
to
don't.
put Blood Gulch
Yeah.
on.
Well,
TV
the
as a show.
episode 1 of season 14 is, and the only thing that's changed is the ending that kind of makes it canonical to the Epsilon unit.
Yeah.
Was that pilot?
Yep.
And I like that. And here's one
loved
thing
it.
that I noticed watching this season, especially whenever Tucker comes in, is so much comes from characterization and from, like, delivery and everything. Because I'd be completely fine with some wacky late 80s, early 90s style, like, just, you know, it has nothing to do with the actual canon, but fuck it, we're just fighting aliens and shit.
Shoot 'em
Like,
up.
I would love that because those characters are so strong and so well established that they can make that work.
You can do anything with
You can do anything with them, exactly. Whereas, like, I don't
a soap opera rom-com.
I don't care about these characters. I'm not endeared to them. So, like, when West, yeah, right? Yeah, when West is being, like, the gruff, like, old man dad thing.
I'm sorry.
It's a meme. It feels like a meme.
I don't like it. I don't like him because he's not Sarge. You
Yeah.
know, like, it's not that he's not Sarge. It's just he's not. I don't connect to
Well,
him.
it's like
More
what's
time to establish it.
Yeah.
This is everything.
Sarge's
every single thing.
Sarge's character is self-aware that he's a parody, basically.
Yeah, in Sarge you front load the delusion that would bring you to his mindset.
I love Sarge.
Well, I mean,
so
like-
much.
In West he's just old gruff dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like,
Old
I like
rough dude
old,
with a bad relationship with his dog.
And he's not overdone old gruff dude. He's just very mediocre old gruff dude.
Right.
Like there's
Yeah.
no attempt at they're trying to sell it instead of trying to make it a parody of itself, I guess.
Yeah. Instead of launching it into absurdity like they do with Sarge,
that's what I was trying to get.
It's like the only character that I can think of in RvB Zero that they overdid, that they just overdid it to make it a fucking joke is Tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tiny, I think, is actually the only character in this that I thoroughly enjoyed every time she was on screen.
I keep on wanting to call him Ramirez. I always forget his name. Raymond.
Raymond, I hate that fucking character.
We did it last time.
Hell of a cop, Ramirez.
Oh man.
Ramirez, get out the tank, catch that bird.
Raymond is the fatal flaw.
You know that Call of Duty
of
meme,
this
Nolan?
season.
You're not old enough, are you?
Raymond is just
What?
Ramirez? The Ramirez meme? Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Raymond is everything wrong with this season. In a nutshell.
Dude.
I love Raymond.
He's the worst. Let's take a look at our self-inserts through RvB.
I don't know why that got me.
Okay.
I'm not laughing at you, Aaron. I'm laughing at Colin laughing at you.
Okay, so well, on top of playing pretty much every every side role that came up in Blood Gulch, Church ended up being super important, but in Blood Gulch, he's basically the exposition character. Felix is a bad guy.
He is reason Texas scary.
And then
Church.
Jax is a self-insert, but a self-parody. He's not in there. Whereas Raymond, as our writer insert, is literally just there anytime there's an even kind of good line to be like, ha, that was funny. Ha ha. Get it? Haha. Just to poke at the audience and be like, see how good of a writer I am, how funny I am. The one thing that really made me notice that was whenever one that was like, this snake is hungry and mongoose is on the menu, whatever she said. And he's like, that's a good line. Oh, is it? Did you write that line, buddy?
Is he a writer or is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was animation.
I'm pretty sure he's a writer.
Oh. I thought he was
Noel?
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Was he
Noel was
a writer?
I thought Noel was an animator. I could be wrong. He might be a writer too.
I don't care what he does for the to me whatever. I didn't know who he was as the voice over artist or whatever.
I think he's got a hilarious voice too. He has good timing.
That's all fine. None of my issues were with the performance. It was really just
the writing,
and every time he opened his mouth, I wanted to staple it shut.
I wish I could remember. There was a wonderful combination between in episode 2, episode 2 or 3, that was between West and Raymond. And he said something that just literally made me guttural laugh. They did one of those classic RvB zoom real close into the helmet as he whispers something real menacingly, and it was just it got me.
Speaking of Raymond, so the limiters. Is that in the first part or the second part of the finale?
That's the second part.
Second part.
It's right
you
before
see the limiters.
It's right before they fight him in Super
throughout the entire show.
Yeah.
You see all their suits do it.
Yeah, but it's only addressed twice.
Yeah.
Because it's addressed in the second episode.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
So in the finale, at the very very beginning of the very last episode, Raymond goes around and turns off the limiters on their suits, which unlocks all of their speed and power and everything, but it drains them faster and they might pass out. Blah 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 blah.
So they haven't been fucked enough before.
He gives them
to do that.
Yeah.
So
I went on a rant about this last episode, so I'm not going to go again.
they've been on where they wouldn't want to do that because of how dangerous it is.
They've been on the verge of death several times, with people.
Exactly what I said last episode.
My point is rule of threes.
Yeah.
It comes up at the very beginning of the season, and then it never comes up again. There should have been a point where it comes up hey,
you see one of them do.
Why are we not using our limiters right now?
No, it's too big. It's too big of a risk. We can't do it. And then come up in the finale no, we have to do it. Because when it comes up finale, it's been so long. I'm what
would
the
have
fuck
been
are you?
okay right there.
Right.
I would have.
Sure.
I was like,
if midway through they were we gotta fucking do it. And
where did these come from? Where did this whole thing come from? But it was there. It was just forgotten about.
It's like if we had never heard the term Super Saiyan until Goku transformed.
Yeah.
Instead of hearing Vegeta say it once an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that was excessive, but yeah. I've become the legend.
That's
The legend that you fear.
that's anime filler. It really
for sure.
comes up when he's fighting Raccoon, or when Goku's fighting Raccoon, and then when Vegeta thinks after Dende heals him that he's a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
He did that once, but he did it twice in the series in Namek. Maybe
what-
3 times.
That's what
Yeah.
in the manga. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Raccoon, and then whenever Dende heals him, he talks about
He's
like the
saying
Super Saiyan.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean by anime.
legend.
Right.
Specifically only in the anime.
Right.
I want
And
to
then
be blonde.
my memory of it is a little bit polluted because the most recent thing that I've watched over and over again on those episodes is DBZ Bridged.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
where he says it like 3 or 4 times an episode.
Well, and of course, Vegeta never seen a Super Saiyan, so Vegeta had no idea that there would
Vegeta
actually
never seen
be
I never seen no Super Saiyan.
a
Transformation?
physical transformation, right?
Yeah.
I never seen none of them
Like, he
Super
just
Saiyans.
figured like, oh, once I reach to a certain plateau, that's it. I'm a Super Saiyan. now.
Man,
What if they had made his hair red instead of blonde?
he'd be a god.
It,
Then you could have made the gold for God.
That'd be stupid.
What? Why?
It would make more sense almost.
That's just because it's so ingrained in my mind that Super Saiyan's like
Right?
blonde.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's different? Dumb.
I mean, GT, the fucking
Fuck your different opinions,
mane
Colin.
turns red. The
What
fur
turns
turns red? The fur's red, and GT.
Yeah,
for
that's also
4.
gross.
Gogeta.
Yeah.
It's actually a really cool concept. I just don't like the way that he was drawn out with the fur.
Is it good?
I don't know.
That is one thing that
Normal.
I cannot get behind. I can agree there are a lot of problems with GT. I don't think Super is that much better, but Super Saiyan 4 is fucking impeccable.
Yeah, and I really think it looks cool with the because they like revert to their like Ozaru.
Yeah, I like
Heroes
that's
came
why I was
out.
saying I like the concept of it. Like it's like their the controlled form of the Great Ape.
Have you guys watched Dragon Ball
Is what it
Heroes?
Yeah, yeah.
which
We
is
watched a
super
little bit
cool.
whenever it first started
Of what?
dropping
It's pretty.
Heroes.
I've watched all of it.
It is super just fun.
It's-
It
yeah,
is-
it's fun
You've got to
and very stupid.
shut your brain off
Good luck.
and just
with it.
watch the fun stuff. Like,
Well, yeah.
that's all it is.
DBZ's been training us to do that for years.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But that's why fucking watching DBZ Abridged is better almost because it's
All right.
more entertaining. More
Merit
entertaining.
for RvB. The action sequences were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them, especially the knife fight stuff with FaZe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That stuff
So
is
what
cool.
ended up happening with her?
Oh, she ended up joining up with the Goody Goodies.
Okay,
I mean,
so here's what
obviously.
ends up happening with her.
It wasn't even ambiguous.
She and one are like doing like a Mexican standoff thing, and then her dad shows up. She fights her dad for a minute. Her dad
He has butter. He becomes a butterfly.
Yeah, no, we saw that part.
Yeah.
he
Then she tears off his
he blows up the
wings.
Hollow Echo, and I guess kills
He like
himself.
hugs it.
Yeah.
And
Was it?
Blows
Did it
up.
show that he killed himself? I cannot remember.
Well, it just shows
we're
like
down for the count right now.
her being like, "I'm gonna kill you, old man." And him being like,
Don't do it, daughter.
like, your mother died. I tried to save you. I was wrong. I'm so sorry. Blah blah blah. And then she has a little temper tantrum, and then she goes back and joins the good guys.
He's kind of like down for the count. Definitely can't fight.
Like she literally just drops to her knees and just. And then
To be fair about the him not being able to fight thing, he did just fight 2 motherfuckers for like 8 minutes straight, and that's not
Man,
fun.
no, this should have been 2 seasons for all of this story that we got.
Yeah.
we should have had
Yeah.
2 seasons for how much story we just got.
we honestly should not have seen the whole question of Zero should have like not been pushed out. Like we should have gotten Zero.
I didn't want his backstory. I didn't want his backstory this season.
We should have.
I don't want it at all. Sorry.
We should have just had the fuck. What are they fucking called?
Shatter Squad?
No, not Shadow Squad.
Oh, his cronies.
Yeah.
And then get Zero revealed to us whenever one of their plans doesn't go through or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Because then that's when we could have brought Wash into it, and then we would have had all of this time to establish the main cast, so we'd give a shit whenever things started to happen to them, as opposed to them just being in a meat grinder and us being like, oh shit, I guess fucking action figures do melt when you put a lighter up to them.
Right, exactly.
That brings me. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if Tucker and Wash are still just chilling in the infirmary.
Probably. That brings me. Did you? Okay, so you watched it. You watched it a second time.
Yeah.
The episode where like they get Wash back, and at the end of it, they're like, oh, like it's all part of the plan, giving them Wash back. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Did you see any reasoning, like going through it again? Anything about that?
No, I did not.
So that was just brought up and dropped immediately?
Yes, brought up once, and then maybe hey, next season.
Maybe it was so Carolina had a reason to go and fight them.
Well, yeah, I mean that's like why it was contrived to be that way, but we don't get an explanation for why.
Well, they
that
wanted
happened.
her to have a grudge, so she would definitely come with them because she had no reason other than that.
Who?
Carolina.
Okay, so
That's the only thing that I can think of.
But
Well, yeah, I mean,
why
good reason,
Why
I'm
would
saying.
they make it seem like they did something to Wash, so that they could and then just drop?
Maybe
it?
they didn't.
Huh?
Maybe maybe that's not what they were going.
Maybe it's like
for.
you're saying it's a red herring.
I'm thinking them even hurting
What?
the shit out of Wash, taking him out of the battle, and goading Carolina to come with them when they go and fight, so that they could kill her too. That's the only thing that I can think of. Once again, I'm not saying it's a good fucking reason. I'm saying that might be why they were like all according to plan.
Yeah.
Well,
Because they were trying to goad Carolina.
Well, the good
into
guys-
being-
But they already fought her, didn't they?
Yeah, they'd already fought her once.
Why wouldn't they just kill her then?
Why wouldn't they kill everyone then?
It's a
Great
game.
question.
It's a game. Yeah, it's a sport.
It's a game to zero.
But was it? Because he was just seeking power.
And
So what happens to Zero?
I want everything.
He got teleported. Oh, okay. So at the very end of it, that same little like demon guy, the Black Lotus, was like, he was like, "You're not worthy of this power," and then he's like, "Nah, I swear I am, bro. Like,
Oh, yeah.
come on, like, just trust me." And he's like, "All right, well, you're not gonna die right now, so I'm gonna teleport you out of here."
I feel like I like this commentary better than the original.
What are you talking about?
You telling it instead of actually watching it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
No,
my God.
he's like straight up dog. Like, let's go, and then they leave.
Okay.
They're just
go
gone.
back, we can go back and redub.
So they're just gone.
They're just gone
And that's it. That's the end.
All right.
to come back for later.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Sure.
the Black Lotus would rather would rather
Lotus
stay
Daddy.
inside of Locust, who is not worthy, than get taken and not get to come back to life. Or
Ultimate
something
Power Daddy
like that.
Lotus just kind of went.
Yeah, he's like, all right, bitch, bye. And then that's it.
Alrighty.
Because it was like, you failed me, but there's a lot
They're
of
like,
pain.
"We
There's
did
a lot
it,
of pain
but
for us
kinda."
for you to go through before you're ready. Blah 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 blah, and then dipped out.
Okay.
Yep. So he's still alive, but
Oh,
he's
there's a-
probably
So
just
we have to
corrupt as
watch
shit.
next season?
do we?
Yes. Yes, we do.
I hope the community will let them know.
Oh, they are.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't been on Reddit.
There's a lot of, and there's enough backlash. People are getting to the point of like, guys, stop being so mean to RvB Zero, and the whole comment thread is just like, no,
Kill yourself.
to know what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know exactly what they did.
If you really love RVB, don't let it be this.
God, it sucks because I fucking I love Torian so much.
Yeah.
I love Torian.
I love Death
so
Battles.
much. I love Death Battle.
It-
I love.
I thought Torian was
anything
going to
that
be
he
a good fit for
animates.
it. 100%. 100% I thought he was.
But the thing is, the show
Aesthetic is all wrong.
because Rooster Teeth in general has become so conglomerized.
That sounds
there's
delicious.
where
I don't want to agree, but I do.
where older seasons of RvB had a much more streamlined, like there were five or six people working on it outside of like the actual 3D animation, from the writing and directing and the people like machinimating to half the voice actors. I don't think Torian wrote that much because he's like credited as like head of story or whatever, but the writers are. He's not in the writing credits on the episodes.
Is he not?
I don't think so.
I think he is.
I'm pretty sure he is.
He's definitely like show creator, and then I think
Yeah.
it shows him in
You think
the
it might be
writer
a too many cooks in the
section.
kitchen kind of thing?
Yes, I think that you can't. I don't think you can put it all. You can put it on Torian
he's not like
the bad,
yeah,
the bad writing.
Like the soul.
No, of course,
the story itself though isn't very good. And I think you
the story
can.
itself could have been. No,
You can kind of put that on him.
Run of the mill action story. Guy wants power. Guy's doing what he wants for power and whatnot. It's all because he hates these people as well.
Well, and
like,
here's
it's a typical '90s action movie.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. RvB being what it is, even doing it in Unity like this, is still certainly like the lowest investment they have to make into a show. If they want to give someone a show and let them stretch their legs, it's probably going to be RvB because there's not as much risk of on returns and everything. Like,
yeah, they just don't have to put as much of an
exactly.
physical
Like they're not
investment
going
into
to
it.
give someone like Torian a show like RvB or something as his first show.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess RvB's a good way to just.
It just sucks because we have an emotional attachment to RvB and expected to have some kind of respect to it because at least for a majority of its run, it's had some kind of respect given to it. But
Yeah.
I'd say
all
like.
things come to an end.
I guess I would say there's a silver lining. Oh my God! Oh yes! Let go of it, Colin. Let go of it.
It's like all of the plot elements kind of feel like they're trying to be resolved like fights. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like we have the established character, and then we're just gonna like list things about them so that you know what they are, and then they're gonna attack or like engage with the conflict, and then there's resolution.
Yeah, immediate exposition and resolution.
Yeah, but it's like it all has this like immediacy and like inability to hang on to anything as separate from those like conflicts. It just feels like we're in this really constrained like one-on-one anytime we're thinking about any of these distinct plot elements, because we're thinking about like the conflict between like FaZe and her dad, we're thinking about the conflict between 0 and 1 or 1 and Caroline. It's like everything is so atomized that it's like it all feels like nothing was really thought of as the overarching thematic elements or like anything that would like structurally contain it. It's like a cat trying to shove its head into a glass of water
Repeatedly.
just trying to get the ice. You know, it's not about what's going on in the room. It's about this
Quality.
it's about this fucking cat. It's
I
like,
think you figured it out.
will they or will they not get the ice at the bottom?
Fucking one goes from loner to team player on a fucking
Yeah,
dime.
absolutely.
She does a flip flop.
And it's just out of nowhere, and it's just
There,
like you're saying, just like whatever like conflict there needs to be for the moment, just
Which is very death battle.
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, is that everything is established like a death battle scene. In that, like,
Yeah.
they're just trying to get everybody to the point where this fight can start, and then they go on with the fight.
Without
You know,
edging
that's-
us at all.
That's pretty.
Just
Yeah,
get right to the
that's
nut.
pretty right. Honestly, thinking about that.
But I don't want to assume that
8 episode long
Torian.
death battle.
Yeah, I don't want
Yeah,
to.
who
I don't
would
want to
say that?
assume that like Torian is a one-trick pony, and this is the only kind of story he wrote. I just feel like in the writers' room there wasn't enough backlash against this as like not enough to make it an RvB season.
What they really needed to do was to take a page out of the RvB playbook and give the characters character shorts. Like there should have been like non-seasonal just some things to introduce the new dynamics that we're playing with, the new characters, and to get some feedback from the audience and everything, since they apparently can't do it internally.
If only they had experience with doing exactly that, and it actually had a show go very well after they did trailers that were specifically colored and actually there to introduce the characters, so that we gave a little bit of a shit about them before we saw them in the series.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like they've never done that before. Or something.
How
I mean
weird.
that can be a crutch. You want your show to have its own internal consistency, but I do think that in this medium, it's almost the same thing as putting out a mini episode. It's just like doing a trade. Like, why not? You know, you're going to get to it on the same platform. You're going to probably watch it and then immediately watch the thing if they're both out.
Again, yeah, different mediums call for different approaches to art.
Yeah, but I don't want to feel like nothing was learned over the course of this season. I kind of like knowing that there's like a bottom to what RvB can be. Like, it wasn't just this like nostalgic sense of continuation that was keeping me around and interested. It was like the legitimacy and actual merit of the show.
Right. Yeah. Even in like seasons like kind of 15, especially 16, that like not that keen on. A lot of people aren't that keen on. There was still like
there's something there.
That fundamental thing of those characters.
Season 15 and 16, yeah.
And it feels like RvB. I was never asking myself, is this really RvB?
Right.
And like I feel like that was going on throughout.
Maybe is this camera. Like where I want RvB to be or where I want it to go, but it never felt like a
she did.
Like a betrayal of...
Yeah, we're fine. Okay. It's just...
You can see into your room now.
That's straight into the closet.
Yeah.
Don't look in there.
Skeletons.
Off the philosophical tangent, though, Zero's fucking horrible accent is just like a perfect microcosm of everything wrong with that character. Like...
Where is he from? Is it just like Europe, quote unquote?
I mean, it's just your like it's Porkinson. It's Spencer Porkinson without the payoff, or Spencer Porkinson.
He's from season 15.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a while.
He's trying to get Tucker. He's after Lavernius Tucker.
Yeah, he's the what's the word for it?
He was there to serve him.
Yeah, he's a process server.
Yeah, he's a process server.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I am here to serve. And cool, like a fucking servant.
And it's all his fucking child support back pay. But like,
oh my God,
kind of like over the top like evil voice this guy has, but it's taken completely seriously, and it all of it stems from that. Like all of his like complete lack of motivation, complete lack of characterization. Just like, what do you want? Everything.
I think.
What the fuck is that, dude?
I think
me
I know
too.
that. Has anyone else here seen Hobbs and Shaw?
Mm-mm. None of us have. I can say definitively.
Okay.
You guys?
Is it the D&D?
No.
It's Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw is it's the spin-off from Fast and the Furious that is Dwayne The Rock.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I never saw it, but yeah, I know.
All right. So, I think I figured out the inspiration for Zero, and I think it is
it Idris Elba?
Idris Elba in
Elbow?
as you had to be there.
Anyway, go on.
No, it's him because he has that same kind of accent. He literally only wants power. He always wants to be stronger and stronger. That's the reason he gets like biomechanical enhancements into his body so that he can be stronger. And I'm pretty sure at one point somebody's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Power
to cancel the apocalypse."
Okay, so with what we have, where do we want this to go? Is there any way out of this? Like, is there any way that the next season can fix
RvB.
this in your head?
I was like,
I thought
there's
he was
nothing
talking about the
gonna help
dinosaurs.
No, that is not my job.
I feel like there are plenty ways out of it, but they're all pretty disingenuous. I don't know if... I mean...
We got to finish Zero's story.
Yeah.
That's the only way out. We need one more season.
We just find out why he's both evil and British.
Nah, yeah.
At the same time.
So I was born in England.
I mean, they're the same thing.
Yeah, he's
just over the top. Fucking tans.
He's a caricature of all Brits.
Right.
Yeah.
All Brits want power.
Empire.
Yeah.
Empire, my good boy.
Yeah.
At one time, England had both feet stretching across the length of Africa.
All right, Carrie Yules.
Don't they kind of still?
You look kind of like Carrie Yules.
I
The
love
sun never
that you said that.
sets.
That makes me so
You look
happy.
kind of like Gary
What?
Jules.
What?
Who?
You look kind of like Gary Jules.
Gary Ellis.
Gary Jules.
Gary Jules.
Ellis?
Gary Yules.
Ellis. How do
Yules.
you say it?
EWELES?
No, ELWES.
Yules.
I think it's Ellis.
What's a W in an Ellis?
Yeah, this is not relevant to our
Yeah, I don't
conversation.
know. I don't know
I
where
want to
the
know what they
fuck-
look like, though.
I don't know where the fuck
Gary
to take
Yules?
this thing. It doesn't really make any sense anyway. to
He's the
me.
guy from
Like,
Princess Bride.
Wesley?
Yeah.
Oh, that's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
He's also in Saw. He cuts his own
He-
foot off.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
As you wish.
I missed it in the rewatch, but does anyone ever turn on Tucker's sword?
Nope.
No.
Tucker.
I mean, like after the incident.
Yes. In that same moment where you hear Tucker's heartbeat drop, you see her turn on the sword, don't you? Or you see her turn it on next episode. You see her
You
boof
see
it
her.
on.
She gives it in the next episode. She gives it to
Zero.
To Zero.
I don't remember
But he
seeing
just-
like the
she used
blade
it on the
after
door.
that.
Right. I don't think the blade activates.
She used it on the door.
Yeah, she used it
Okay.
on the door. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So we have to. That has to be addressed next season.
Keyblade.
No, well, what
she
we
has
talked
to
about,
die.
what I talked about
Yeah.
last time,
That's
is
what has
that
to happen. She
what
has
I
to die
talked
so
about,
Tucker can get his sword back.
what I talked about last time, is that was the Echo that picked up the sword and used the sword. Just because they fused together doesn't mean that both of them own it. It means the Echo owned it. Now the Echo's dead.
Well, now
The Echo, and then FaZe was holding the fucking sword at the end. Never turned the motherfucker on.
now that would mean.
Do they have to turn? The
That means
argument
he's
was,
just
do they
gonna
have
get
to
his
turn
sword
on
back
the
all
sword?
willy nilly.
Oh,
Nothing's
yeah.
They have
ever
to turn
gonna
on the sword to
happen.
own it.
Yeah.
That's such a letdown.
That
The whole
gives
thing is
Tucker
such
back
a
the sword.
East needs to die.
Yeah, well, there you are.
East
I
and
think
West.
I think that they pulled the stupid move, and that they're going to have
Oh,
Tucker
shit.
just have back the sword by killing off the Echo, because the Echo was the one holding it and the one using it.
I mean, that's
Okay.
still fine, I guess.
It makes sense if you think about it that way, but
That
I'm the only one who apparently thought about it that way.
I mean, I
so
thought
I don't
about
know.
it, but I mean, not well. After
I
you
haven't
said
thought about it at all.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
That Echo thing is so fucking stupid.
I mean,
in
I thought the
general.
Echo thing's cool.
I mean,
I'm
all right.
saying that in admission that it's obscure and
holograms.
absurd.
It's supposed to be a long going thing
Yeah.
in this universe.
I get that.
They made it
That's
sentient.
It
That's
could have been
really
cool
dumb,
if they
though.
would have done it better.
Was it? Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Because it forces us to ask a ton of questions about like how did nobody notice this? Don't they
Yes.
get like physicals often? If you're a fucking light-based hologram, you don't do things like pee or shit or eat or any of this stuff. Like
Also,
knew
to,
she was, right?
to Colin's point, what is the degree of separation
Yeah.
between FaZe and East? Like, does the Echo actually have enough of its own unique property or soul or whatever that the sword is actually attached to it, or is it actually attached to FaZe because that's the actual host body or whatever, and East is just a hollow projection. So that's the question that will bring your theory into doubt. We don't know how much East is established as her own autonomous thing.
and
Yeah.
how her memories and thoughts are metabolized between the two of them,
Right.
because obviously they both know everything that the other one knows, but how does that work?
Right.
And
yeah, why wouldn't they have the same feelings about
Feelings and
these
thoughts.
characters
Yeah.
if they share the same mind?
which makes the turncoat a little bit more believable if they are the same thing, but at the same time, at the end, when the Echo's dead, all of a sudden we get a FaZe who we saw on the other team the entire time turncoat real quick.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's just bad writing, but
Yeah.
because of her dad appealed to her better sense or what.
But wasn't he trying to appeal to her better sense the entire
Yeah,
fucking time,
right.
through the Echo?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
He needed the whole
was a
self
weird climactic.
to give it.
right.
He needed to be able to talk to
maybe. I
all
could
of
maybe
her.
go with that. I could maybe go with that. There you go. Yeah.
Just the Echo itself didn't have the capacity to forgive. Maybe.
I don't know.
I just don't know why, of all things, you would not put in the forgiveness chip. You would
You know,
leave
if
that
this
out.
if this
of the-
finale were next season, I feel like we would be having a much different
No, I agree.
conversation.
Yeah.
Literally all the problems I can think of right now are all
They're
due
all-
to
If
the
only
timing
they had done a
constraint.
different series where making a copy of somebody had gone, awry, and they put it in a good way so that it made a good story.
Never
if
could-
only
that
they
could
had done
never
a
happen,
different,
though.
if only they had done a whole other series where they made clones of somebody and it went awry and they did a good story out of it.
Look,
Crazy.
I will throw out this microphone.
No, like I said before, I have problems with with writing throughout, but the damning thing about this show is the pacing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For
I mean,
real.
that just any ability to write at that point was just like fucking.
I mean, yeah. No amount of time will make me care about Raymond, and
Raymond's so good though.
Dialogue could have been infinitely better, and it still.
Yeah.
Raymond had the best dialogue out of everybody.
So close to caring about FaZe throughout the show. Never quite get there.
yeah, it's always on the cusp of it.
I'm always on the cusp of it.
I
Yeah.
feel like Zero's the only one that I give a shit about.
Man,
I
Actually
especially
give a shit.
give no shits about Zero.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Like-
actively give no shits about Zero.
No, the only like Raymond, obviously, love Raymond. And I swear I'm not making that a joke. Whenever I said I love Raymond, I want to go and backpedal.
I don't know if you're making it a joke, but it is a joke.
Yeah, it is. But what's his name? Rex? Max? Rex, the guy in the red armor.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Fucking.
Oh, Axel.
Axel. I really wanted more out of Axel.
I feel like Axel is one of the characters
Especially
that
like
got
when you
fumbled,
got
too.
that flashback sequence and whatnot between him and Zero.
I think they
That was
actually should have opened on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
they should have opened up
Yeah.
on that. It was such a good little thing that they did.
And they should have had his theme song play. Ring, ding,
No,
ding, ding,
they
ding,
should
ding,
not
ding,
have.
Why is that?
Because that should have been the beginning of season 2.
Okay.
If we're talking like this should have been drawn out
You're
2
right.
seasons, this season should have been more focused on FaZe
Yep.
and
Because you should start in media res if you can, and
Yeah.
that would have been better. Yeah.
and then end of this season introduce Zero, and then start next season with that cold open of the past. Like what's this going on? Then you get back to where we are and like, okay, now we have some backstory and establishment, how he's connected to these characters in a way, blah 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 blah. That would have been, or even if you didn't do that and you did this instead of it being 8 episodes, the standard like 15, 16 that RvB typically gets, could have been a lot better.
Oh yeah, like oh man, like you expounding upon like like have it over time. Like it's like once each season is maybe them like each key, kind of the same way as Ruby with the rebels.
Yes, absolutely. That would have been, because then we could have had that tension of like, oh, there's one key left, and have the good writing to be like, oh well, Locust something, so it can't be his key, it has to be Tucker's key.
Yeah.
Then you have a season of that tension, oh fuck, Tucker's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like either like Tucker's probably gonna die this season. That would make the whole thing seem so much more impactful if it had done that instead of him just showing up in one episode
Right.
and then dying but not really dying.
Yeah. Played it like suspense instead of a cheap grab at a cliffhanger.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But yeah, no.
just
Instead,
Zero, yeah.
with Zero, it's just like, that's right. I'm British.
And I want power.
I sip tea. I want power. The whole 9 yards. Meters.
We also don't even know his real name.
It's Zero.
Right.
No.
Well, I mean, that was his call sign.
No, that's his actual
No,
name.
Agent 1 was his call sign.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then he changed
But his
it
name was
to Zero.
That's why no.
Because he's like, what's better than
he's like,
one?
I'm
Zero.
He's Commander and Agent 1, and then he named himself Zero.
Yeah.
Then we don't know his name.
Stupid.
So to end this, the first line of the closing credits song, we're taking over this show. You can't stop us. Is that a threat?
Oh,
I feel threatened.
Yeah.
is that really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Like
We can't stop you, but the fan base can.
just immediate, just like, we're taking over this show. You can't stop us, no. Like that's immediate. Like when the credits start rolling, like okay. So they have like no shame, no guilt, no self-awareness. They're just, nope, this is ours now, and hope you like our shit.
Yeah. Well.
Aaron, you're wrong.